What was they talking about? It's cold outside. Man, this wind ain't shit. Yeah! Okay, I'm really late to the series, and I'm even more late on an upload for my channel. But bear with me here and I'll explain everything in a bit. If I can be entirely honest, I was never the biggest fan of Shonen Jump manga. I liked a few of them, but I could never really get into the likes of Bleach, Naruto, or Dragon Ball. To me, those are all just manga and stories for little baby boys. And of course, someone of my stature only reads big boy stories. So when the Chainsaw Man manga started airing, I was a tiny bit skeptical. It was nowhere near as popular as it is now, and the concept of a guy that becomes a chainsaw intrigued me to say the least. So I decided I'd give the first chapter a go and see where that took me. And oh my god, that might have been the best decision I've ever made in my life. Where do I even start with a story like Chainsaw Man? I guess we can talk about the title itself first. Does this man actually become a chainsaw? Oh fuck, wait, give me a second. Yeah, he does. The actual Chainsaw Man himself is not only iconic in costume, but also the fights are goddamn spectacular. Granted, the anime elevates the fights way more, but even in the manga they gave me chills. Seeing Chainsaw Man's chainsaws rip through anything in his path literally never got old, especially since he acts like a fucking psychopath. It's refreshing to see a hero that's still a hero, but they're not some uptight good guy or wisecracking smartass. It's just a genuine fucking insane man being a hero. Enough about the action though, that's not the important stuff. The first juicy part of the series I want to talk about is the story. Chainsaw Man's story honestly doesn't reinvent the wheel. Main character gets picked up by shady government groups since he's special, and now he's to traverse the world which he lives in with these people. It's nothing we haven't heard of before, and honestly I've seen it kind of beaten to death already, but what really impressed me was the characters. I'll start with the side characters I really love, like Aki. He's that cool, brooding, aging guy that has a dark past and fights with a very specific resolve and purpose. Yeah, I'll admit, it's a cliche, but I honestly really like those kind of characters. So if he was gonna stay that way, I honestly would have been okay with it. But he doesn't stay that way. As we learn more about him, we come to realize he's not some perfect badass. He's an emotional man who's doing his best to keep his composure in a ruthless career. He cries, and despite his best efforts, he connects with those around him. It makes his struggles that much more meaningful, and it takes a stereotype that I was already fond of and reinvents it entirely. Had Aki already been the main character in the story and everything else stayed the same, I still think I would have enjoyed the story a ton. Alright, now get this depressing loser fuck away from me. Let's talk about the chick that really makes the story. Power. I swear, she's the only reason the story's as fun as it is. I even got her as my phone case because I like being recognized as a loser that much in public. Denji can be pretty wild himself, but it's Power who really pushes the story to its absolute limits in terms of character writing. She's the stereotypical, loud, brash character we've seen in anime before. Once again, it's nothing new, but in a world that's so morbid with the cast of characters that can be a bit heavy, she fits right into the series as a refreshment to keep the audience engaged. And not only does she commit to her trope very well, but she's also a full-fledged character in her own right. We've already seen in the anime how she's slowly beginning to empathize and form genuine relationships. And without spoiling too much from the manga, damn, I can only say she gets better and better. I won't lie, there's a certain dialogue scene involving Power and holy fuck, it brought me to tears. Chainsaw Man was one of the few manga to bring me to tears, and even more surprisingly, it was Power who got them out of me. That is something truly special. Now some of you might be wondering, what about Himeno and Kobeni? And I mean, come on, let's be real here. They hardly have any actual meaningful developments. Himeno made me want to be Denji for one episode, and then she got Thanos snap out of the fucking show. And Kobeni? I mean, she might not have the best character writing, but like, I know we all know what devil she has. Cause all I'm saying is, wait. Oh, thank fuck. God, I fucking need her. But anyways, I'll admit, Chainsaw Man doesn't have the most complex side characters. But then again, hardly any story does, and for what it's worth, all the side characters in this story are at the very least very likable and usually make up for their lack of development with their character chemistry, whether it be with the main cast or just each other. Like the Angel Devil and Aki, god, their chemistry, so good. Now there is one character that I have to tread lightly around, because her and me have a history. I've made some wild statements regarding her in the past, but I am a changed man. Oh my god! I'm sorry, Mom. Your son is posting himself barking to a drawing of fictional woman on the internet for the world to see. Fuck. Now, putting my relationship with Makima aside, as a character, she's okay, I guess. I'll admit, amongst the insanely dynamic cast in this series, she definitely ranks pretty low in terms of being intriguing. I'd argue the only reason she remained intriguing at all is because of how obviously shady she is. Which, to be fair, pays off a lot. I'm gonna get into some quick manga spoilers, so skip to this timestamp if you don't want any manga spoilers. Alright, now that the anime onlys are gone, let's look at Makima No! Okay, but actually, what I wanted to talk about is the plot twist that Makima isn't really some evil figure that wants to destroy the world, or has their own personal agenda. I love the way they handled it, so Makima— oh my, what is her name? What the fuck? I love the way they handled it, so Makima was simply just following her orders. She's simply a product of the evil government who handled her, and you know, I don't want to get too political here, but I really feel like that reflects a lot of the real world. Except for Hillary Clinton, because she's bad as fuck. STOP! So while I don't think Makima is oppressive as a character, she more than makes up for it by making the story a whole lot better. Yeah, and you anime onlys that skipped over here, we just had a pizza party without you. Go fuck yourself. All that's left to talk about is the literal star of the show, Denji. Undeniably the greatest part of the series, Denji's just so amazingly written because he's just like me. I swear, when I was 15 and reading part 1, it had me looking for hidden cameras in my house because I was thinking Fujimoto was writing about me. I was a horny ass dude who would do anything, and I mean anything, for pussy. He's immature. Denji's extremely immature, yet he's insanely kind and sympathetic. He has a skewed perception on the important things in life, and this whole story is about him learning what it means. I know this may be hard to accept for the Chainsaw Man fans that didn't graduate kindergarten, but believe it or not, a big part of Denji's arc is about him accepting that he doesn't need sexual validation. And as a confused teenager, this story taught me a lot about that. Denji wanted to touch boobs for the longest time, but when he finally got around to it, he felt numb, almost dismayed even. Then he's literally about to go to town with a MILF, and here, wait a minute. Let me watch this dub real quick.
Wanna do it?
Yeah. Yeah, just like that.
Pick him up.
Just. God, I need help. He was so close into getting into all of that, yet when the moment came, he instinctively decided against it. He felt that it was wrong. I mean, it would have been wrong for more reasons than one, but I'm inclined to believe Denji turned down the offer because he's starting to realize that sex in itself doesn't really mean anything. And that's a huge part of the story too, the theme of sex and what it means. Makima put it best herself when she tells Denji that sex is much better with people you're close to. And Denji's pretty close with a lot of women and quite literally lives with one, so I figured it was only a matter of time before we got some nice payoff for him. But then something far more interesting happened. There's going to be manga spoilers again, so skip to this timestamp if you don't want any. I figured that as Denji grew closer to power, or hell, even Makima, something might have happened with them later on. But as Denji grew closer to power, and fuck, they even had some intimate moments together, Denji started to realize he couldn't sexualize her. He loved her, but she became like a sister to him. And it was this relationship which has made him more fulfilled than any of his past sexual encounters, which have quite honestly done the exact opposite. Even Makima's villainous turn can symbolize Denji demonizing the very thing he sexualized the most. The ending of part 1 where Denji quite literally eats Makima, I still find myself scratching my head over what it could mean. But I mostly feel fine with my conclusion that this is Denji's loves to the fullest. He's too empathetic to have a hatred towards Makima, and that's okay. This is a treasured part of his character that I hope he never loses. But he had to end Makima one way or the other, and he decided to end her with his love. A love that couldn't be denied, and one that would not only save her and himself, but also the world. After all the sexualization and idolizing Denji did for Makima, he was able to fix it by finally loving her instead. So basically, for all you anime onlys that missed out, I was talking about what Chainsaw Man is all about. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. This series is pretty much an anti-sexualization feast. It critiques meaningless sex and how it can diminish self-worth, while also showing how simply having a deep relationship doesn't necessarily mean it'll translate into a sexual one, and that's okay. Nobody needs sexual validation to be a complete person. You just need to be a kind person, a person who can sympathize and empathize with others even when it's hard. And it's okay if you can't do that all the time, because Chainsaw Man tells us there's not a more complete person than someone who keeps striving to become a better one. That's the essence of it. That's how Chainsaw Man shattered stereotypes. So yeah, that's it. I guess just like and subscribe before my master comes in my room.
Randers, it's baby making time.
No! Chainsaw blood. Shigata ketta mo natta mo tamo yaranai. Take kita mo gata mo yamana. Tell me why I cried and tell me why chainsaw blood.